staring over it. Hello again, thank you for joining me for another video. So I have a lot on my mind right now, and I am just having some coffee in the morning and staring out the window and thinking about things. And I feel like I've had many days in a row of it, like a forced silence, a forced separation from people, and it gets to be annoying. And at the end of it, I kind of throw a bit of a tantrum, mess with all of my energy and the energy that's anywhere within my reach, to get it to go, to get this sense of it's a sense of you're not allowed. And it has me thinking, and I'm thinking on multiple streams, so I'm just gonna have to do a little let it all out kind of thing, because the sense of having to reestablish who I am over and over and over again is annoying. And this is the part that has driven me actually crazy, dealing with social media as it is. Because it seems like such a rush of intent to become this thing other than yourself. And then compete with other people to see who has succeeded in becoming this thing other than themselves. And that, in the context of spiritual awakening, has muddied the waters so much. I can't actually tolerate most people. So I can't tolerate creating community with spiritual people because they got all this bullshit thrown in their heads. Because honestly, there are multiple things happening. Everybody keeps looking for this one truth to lay their hat on, to build a community around. And that's not how it works. And so we gravitate towards or reject others. And it got me thinking about tax, actually. Like we're all like we pay tax to have our belief systems reinforced, our version of reality. So some people will create a version of reality and they will charge you for access to their version of reality, for their constructs. So they do that through books, through movies, through teachings, through guruship, through political agreements, through societal agreements, education. Everywhere we look, in order to get a piece of somebody else's reality or stability to reality, we had to pay for it. And then, would-be spiritual teachers will make you pay to have it removed. This tax on reality, profiteering. It's weird. And that's the true waters that we're in. So especially in this day and age, people are trying really hard to build up the constructs of a believable reality, history, future potentials, and then they tax you to get a piece of it. They'll help you form this reality in your mind. And the people who don't need other people's realities that they have to pay for are kind of rare. And I would say you don't know them. You don't see them. you can, if you get real quiet, you can sense it. You can sense this kind of powerful force that exists in the, astral etheric realms. But people who don't need to charge you a tax and don't need your help to create the stability of their reality, that's the difference. The different fields that are at play. And it got me thinking about the idea of the coat of many colors, because I take, my upbringing was in Christianity, and it is the foundation for everything else. So I have learned the words of other religions and spiritual teachings to translate my knowing, like Christian mystic shaman type knowing, and I translated some of that so that I have a basic understanding of a whole bunch of other religions and spiritual traditions. Now, you can't get the full download of another culture's nuance in terms of their spiritual language, because you're just going to miss certain things that come in the vibration. So words only do so much. There's also this hidden, subtle subtext that comes. And so that's why I would say avoid laying your hat on this singular truth, because you're really laying your hat on language, and none of the language gets at the heart and meat of things. And we spend a lot of time arguing about language instead of looking at motivations behind it and intentions behind it. So the coat of many colors should be the goal for more people. Having an inclusive mind, a mind that is capable of mapping other people's realities that aren't making you pay a tax for it, because fuck them. Unless they're a writer and they've written a book, in which case they should get paid for their work. I'm just crabby today. I'm crabby all the time now. I've reached that age where you make a decision. Once you reach your 50s, you make a decision. Am I going to be a nice old lady, or am I going to be a mean one? And I didn't want to be a mean one, and I never would have guessed it. But yeah, I don't have a lot of patience. I've been through too much. I've been through too much to tolerate a certain type of bullying, inconsideration, lying, ignorance that's defended. I just don't have the patience for it. And so I love people still, so I just remove myself. I don't have something nice to say, I will remove myself, because I know you'll figure it out eventually. And that's the best thing I can do to honor myself, who has every right to be mad. It's okay. It's okay to be mad at the way people treat each other and the ignorance that they defend, and the bullies that warp their minds. So the idea behind coat of many colors is that you expect to be inclusive of other realities. Because it weaves together this fabric of knowing the ways in which the divine will alter the course. It's like being an inchworm, except for instead of going forward, we go like this. Sideways walking. Locked arms and some weird creature. I fail at the ability to describe what my life has been in such a way that I can't tolerate what people assume about me. Because none of the surface describes the inner world. Because I don't care about this fake reality as much as I'm supposed to. And it gets me in trouble. And then people see the results of that trouble. And they think it says something about your inability to hold reality, instead of your ability to disregard other people's bullshit realities. Which is it's an art form. Being able to resist being possessed by other people's version of reality is an art form. And if you have a good spiritual training, you'll have a little bit more support and power behind that. It's you don't have to ruin other people's realities. You have to make, create, and hold your own in a way that allows you to be inclusive instead of nihilistic. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, honestly, but I've been silenced for a few days and cut off from people, and it's an uncomfortable feeling. It's like growing your wings and then having them clipped, and then growing your wings and then having them clipped. And then you have to grow wings that can't be. And quick enough to avoid the next clipping. Now listen. The whole thing I wanted to talk about today, that I've been thinking about for the last few days, was the way in which spiritual awakening unfolds. Because it unfolds in this, like, pretty, for me. It might be doing something else for you, but when I look at what I'm hearing people say, you can almost tell which stage of this awakening that they're in. And I think that's what most of the books and scriptures say also. But a lot of people only read one book, maybe two, lines of thought. And so I was going to talk about lineage and the paths and how they unfold, and why you shouldn't get so caught up in. You need a home language. You need to understand how to translate what other people are saying that means the exact same thing that you're saying. And until you can do that, you're like on different planets. It's annoying. there's like the Great Spirit, Mahatma, the connection to God as the Father, and noticing the presence while being too young to think that there could ever be something different. You don't even question it. It's so pervasive, it's unquestioned. And from there, Ananda, Jesus, I guess you could call it Shakti. But that it's most people's understanding of Shakti is not going to be sufficient to actually make the connection to Jesus. But how many times you got to hear that word and never understand the meaning? So it's the coming into form. It's seeing one more level down from Mahatma. One level, like noticing of the Great Spirit. You noticed the Great Spirit. It was everywhere, and now you noticed it. That's the Jesus level. You know it's there. That's the Jesus level. And then Bodhisattva. Now knowing, you do. Now knowing, you move in it. It becomes a movement. It becomes a proliferation. And from there, the Guruji, the teacher, student. It was the Great Spirit. It was Great Spirit in form. It was Great Spirit in form actively moving. And now it is actively teaching. It is working with. It is application. And if you do a good job at the Guruji level, you create new, new grace, new opportunities for grace. You do your evolutionary commitment to the cycle. And teach others how to do the same. And then you go back. If you've done your job well, you go back into that free-flowing grace state of it's just Mahatma. It's just Great Spirit. And it cycles through these, expand, contract. Once you're on it, you expand and contract within these 4 fields. The suffering is not suffering anymore. And people are working out different stages of this. So we're trying to find this, it's just this one truth. It's just this Mahatma truth. It's just the Great Spirit. It's just God the Father. It's just non-duality. And we know, because we're in fucking bodies right now, that non-duality says so little about the full encompassing truth. For someone who is completely clueless about it, it's like trying to teach death to a baby. Why would you do that? And it's like training angels, right? You get to that Guruji level, you're training angels. And angels assist in Grace's movements. So it's everywhere. So everyone's protected. And you don't have to do anything. You can just live your life. You can just go to freaking 7-Eleven, get your sodas, go to work, go home and watch your movies, and you literally don't have to do anything else. There is no demand. This is for people who feel called to. Like, that's the weird thing about spirituality, is that there's no demand. You're either called to it and encouraged in it, or you're not. There's no demand. The tree does not have to do a thing. The sun and the soil and the water take care of the tree. Birds are given their seasons. There's a natural harmony here. You don't have to pay for this reality. They attempt to tax you on it. They get their comeuppance. That's how that goes. And sometimes the angel will save you, and then you notice Grace. Then you notice Mahatma, and you get pulled into the Ananda. You get pulled into the Jesus vibe. People want to separate out religion into these different groups of spirituality. This is primitive. If you use the word Jesus, you're primitive. You don't know shit. You're just controlled. It's the same thing. Ananda, Shakti, Jesus, Christ, the Holy Spirit. Misunderstanding language and confusing things. If you actually get yourself to the point where you've dropped your own reality enough to see these large forces, if you can drop your whole reality enough to see the large forces, that we're all actually buoyed within. Like, you look at the idea of Great Spirit, and you see this interplay of harmony. And if you look at yourself, it's like a compassion thing to allow the human soul, body, and mind to not have to take care of everything, and to be in the ocean of that, and in the same capacity it allows for this cycling. You honor the Great Spirit by noticing you aren't it. You're a part of it. And also no part of you can be separated from it. And it isn't a small noticing when there's more power outside of your awareness than in your awareness. It's a measure of respecting your inability to know. So we hold these little bodies to offer a bit of respect to the totality. It's a respect add-on. I don't know. And that continues in the Ananda Jesus phase, in the Bodhisattva phase, in the Guruji phase. These are all ways to honor, respect, love, present gratitude into the fields of consciousness. So, okay, I'll be done there. Take care until next time. Be well.